For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon, how it disturbs the seasons and comes in from year to year 10 days too soon. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order and make an abominable day of testimony and an unclean day a feast day. And they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean, and the unclean day with the holy. For they will go wrong as to the months and Sabbaths and feasts and jubilees. For this reason, I command and testify to you that you may testify to them. For after your death, your children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason, they will go wrong as to the new moons and seasons and Sabbaths and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. This is Jubilees chapter 6, verse 36 through 38. The ones that don't celebrate or don't honor the lunar Sabbath always go to Jubilees chapter 6. But keep in mind, they have no calendar to follow. They just want to disprove the correct calendar, the lunar solar calendar, which is the creator's calendar. But like I said before, they have no calendar to go by. So it states, the moon comes in 10 days too soon. We understand that. We could go to other biblical references and find that information out. We could go into the Dead Sea Scrolls. We could go into the Book of Enoch. We could go into the Compact Bible dictionaries. We could go into Philo, the works of Philo. So we understand that to be true. And verse 38 states that there will be 364 days a year. Well, that's 364 days for a solar year, not a lunar year. A lunar year has 354 days. So you can look this up in all the biblical reference books that I just spoke of. But at the end of verse 38, it states, and for this reason, they will go wrong as to the new moons and seasons and Sabbaths and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. Now, this is the part that they always leave out. Since we're following the moon cycles or moon phases to keep our Sabbath days, does this mean that we're going to start eating all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh? Like, think about that. We understand the dietary law. We keep the dietary law. Now, why will we eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh just by following the moon phases? As we're closing out the 9th lunar month and approaching the 10th lunar month, we're entering into the 4th season, which is winter. 1 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 52 through 59. Now on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month Chislev, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning and offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings, which they had made. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it, even in that was it dedicated with songs, citerns, and harps and cymbals. Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the God of heaven, who had given them good success. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days and offered burnt offerings with gladness and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold and with shields, and the gates and the chambers they renewed and hanged doors upon them. Thus were there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away. Moreover, Judas and his brothers, with the whole congregation of Israel, ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days, from the 25th day of the month Chislew, with mirth and gladness. The 25th day of the 9th month was this past Monday. And we are to celebrate this for 8 days. So this is what you would call Hanukkah, which is the Feast of Lights, the Feast of Dedication. And we are to celebrate this for 8 days. And on the 6th day of the Feast of Dedication, which is a new moon day, which is the first day of the 10th month. I understand some may be celebrating the new moon day on the 7th day of the Feast of Dedication, which is December 1st. I look at the WLC app at times just to see if their Sabbaths matches mine. And I realize some of their months has 30 days back to back. The 7th and 8th month has 30 days, and the 10th and 11th month has 30 days. Now on this app, the first half of the lunar year is 177 days, but the second half on this app equals 178 days, which gives us a total of 355 lunar days. I'm not trying to debunk this app. I just want to get some understanding on how they got these numbers. Also on this app, it states the 3 basic units of time that must be measured are the day, the year, and the month. The complexity of the calendars arises because the year does not comprise an integral number of days or an integral number of lunar months. In other words, the number of days required for a complete cycle of the moon does not equal the number of days required for a complete cycle of the sun. A solar year is 365.24 days long. A lunar year is 354.37 days long. This difference in the length between the solar and lunar years requires intercalation, an extra day for a solar calendar, an extra month for a lunar solar calendar. Well, on biblical resources like the Book of Enoch, Jubilees, the works of Philo, the Compact Bible Dictionary, the Dead Sea Scrolls, they all state that the solar year has 364 days, and the lunar year has 354 days. This is the Dead Sea Scrolls, the New Translation, chapter 59, Calendar of the Heavenly Signs. This is 4Q319. In the Quran calendar, the lunar months alternates between 29 and 30 days, beginning with 29. Keep that in mind. So in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the lunar months alternates between 29 and 30 days, beginning with the 29th month. So when we go into the Book of Enoch, chapter 78, verse 15 and 16, it states, "In 3 months she makes of 30 days, and at her time she makes 3 months of 29 days each, in which she accomplishes her waning in the first period of time and in the first portal for 177 days. That's the first half of the year of a lunar year is 177 days. Now the second half of a lunar year is also 177 days, which equals a total of 354 days. Verse 16. And in the time of her going out, she appears for 3 months, 30 days each. And for 3 months, she appears of 29 days each. So I'm trying to get an understanding of how did they get 355 days in a lunar year, according to this app. Or the second half of the year, they got 178 lunar days. Because if you add up 177 days for the first half of the lunar year, and then you add another 177 days for the second half of the lunar year, That would give you a total of 354 lunar days. So we know we have to add a 13th month every 3 years, so the moon can be in conjunction with the sun. Here's what the WLC app has to say about this. The biblical calendar is lunar, solar, and begins with the new moon nearest to the vernal equinox. Consistently beginning the new year with the new moon nearest the vernal equinox will sometimes necessitate adding a 13th month to the calendar. This is because the lunar year is 11 days shorter than the solar year. But in actuality, the lunar year is 10 days shorter than the solar year, not 11. So let's keep going. Adding a 13th month brings the lunar year and the solar year back into alignment. Years containing 13 months are called embolismic years. These embolismic years fall into a very predictable 19-year cycle. So this year, according to this app, is a 13th month, which is correct. After performing some counts for future New Years, I found that some New Years fell between February and March. But it always falls between March and April. Therefore, there's a 13th month this year. Besides this, according to Philo, the autumnal equinox is fixed in the 7th month. The autumnal equinox this year fell on September 25th, inside of the 7th month. Now, if you paid attention to the signs in heaven, for this month, specifically the moon, you would have found the Sabbaths that matched the moon phases fell on Fridays in the 9th month. And the Sabbaths that matched the moon phases for the 10th month will fall on Sundays, even though the Sabbath is actually November 30th, which is on Saturdays. But why are the moon phases off? Let's check out what Enoch, the book of Enoch, has to say. This is the book of Enoch, chapter 79. In some books, it might be chapter 80. But this is 1 through 7. In those days, Uriel answered and said to me, Behold, I have showed you all things, O Enoch, and all things have I revealed to you. You see the sun, the moon, and those which conduct the stars of heaven, which cause all their operations, seasons, and arrivals to return. In the days of sinners, the years shall be shortened. Well, we're witnessing that. These years, these days are going by fast. Verse 4, their seed shall be backward in their prolific soil, and everything done on earth shall be subverted and disappear in its season. The rain shall be restrained, and heaven shall stand still. In those days, the fruit of the earth shall be late and not flourish in their season. And in their season, the fruits of the trees shall be withholden. The moon shall change its laws and not be seen at its proper period. This is why sometimes the moon phases appears to be off, because the moon shall alter her order and not appear at her time. But in those days shall heaven be seen, and barrenness shall take place in the borders of the great cherries in the west heaven, shall shine more when illuminated by the orders of light, while many chiefs among the stars of authority shall err, perverting their ways and works. Those shall not appear in their season, who command them, and all the classes of the stars shall be shut up against sinners. So verse 6, it states, the moon shall change its laws and not be seen at its proper period. Why is that? Because of sin. Sinning have increased on this earth. That's why the moon has not been seen at its proper period. So, in the 4th season, which is the winter months, begins with a 30th day month. Then it goes to 29-day month. Then it goes to another 30th day month. So this year has a 13th month. So we have to add a 30th day month. So our new year will fall on March 29th. I hope you guys were edified. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.